Hello, 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 and welcome to this episode of the Sanibel Captiva Guide podcast. I'd like you to welcome a former guest, Dane Johnson.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Excellent. Thanks for joining us again.
It's good to be back and see everybody.
Yeah, so it's been a bit of a time since the last time we saw you. A lot's happened, obviously. Yeah. In case you don't know, Dane's family are the owners of Bailey's General Store.
Yep.
More recently, after the storm, we were seeing each other on a regular basis because we were leaving from boats we were leaving from our house here and across the canal. You were getting a morning ride out to the island. So tell us a little bit about what you've been doing since the storm.
So since the storm, I contacted the construction company that we had been working with to plan the remodel for Bailey's, Brad Nickel with Benchmark General Contractors. And I had already been out to the store and seen how much damage we really had, and came to the conclusion that myself and my normal duties, I wouldn't really be able to do much. So I talked about it with the family and reached out to Brad and said, hey, I need some temporary employment for a little while. And within 15 minutes, he was at the house and we had a quick conversation. He said, when can you start?
No, that's awesome. So what have you been doing? What is it?
So I came on as a superintendent role, and from day one, we acquired boats and through friends of friends had somewhere to put them, which just happened to be across the canal. Across the canal.
So we're sitting here in absolute squalor and there's stuff everywhere. I think when you first started going over there was a boat on the seawall over there.
Yep.
And then I didn't even recognise you because you had the high vis jacket on and the helmet or hat or whatever. And Max said, "That's Dane." I said, "I don't think it is." So yeah, sure enough, we were leaving in the mornings, going the same place, but in the strangest of circumstances.
Yep, we were running crews out on a 25 pontoon boat that we had purchased for that sole reason, and that was our way with Benchmark of getting our crews out to the island before we had a bridge and be able to get in contact with our customers and start surveys on properties for property owners that aren't local, send them pictures, see at what state the property's in, so we can formulate a game plan and move forward from today. Right.
And so how much has it changed from today, in the last couple of months? I mean,
I think we're on day 85 or something around that.
It's been a huge change. I remember, so the first day we went out, we didn't have any way of transporting other than bikes, and we quickly learned it's a very large island if you're going to be biking around with a heavy backpack with everything you need for the day, because once you leave the boat, you
need water.
You're not coming back to the boat.
Yeah.
So Brad and I actually had a blistering bike ride from my parents' house to the store one day, and we were about halfway back racing the sunset, and we looked at each other and said, we can't do this anymore. So he was gracious enough to get 4 e-bikes, which made for a little bit quicker transport around the island, so we could hit more properties. I think my personal record was 12 properties between East End and West End in a day for surveys.
Wow. You can't do that on a regular bike.
No, I wouldn't have made it.
So what is your role now? Have you now started contract? Have you started jobs? Have you actually? Just a quick message before we get back to the show. We put a ton of effort into bringing you quality content, so if you would like to help us share our love of the islands, here are several easy ways. Firstly, you can support us on Patreon. You could purchase an island souvenir from our Etsy store. You can metaphorically buy us a coffee, which is an easy way to donate a couple of bucks.
Don't you prefer tea?
Well, I do, kind of. Also, like and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all things Sanibel and Captiva. And finally, show some love to our sponsors. Let them know we sent you. All the links are in the description below. Now, back to the episode.
Oh, absolutely. We're well underway with all of our jobs. I'm more of a superintendent role, so I'm the boots on the ground and dealing with subcontractors and making sure whatever is being taken out is the right stuff, whatever's going back in is the right stuff, and just making sure that it's the end product that the customer is going to want.
Cool. Very cool. So what a difference.
And you're also working on Bailey's as well?
Yes, I am working on Bailey's. That's one of the projects that I'm supervising. As of today, we just got the release from insurance to go ahead and get everything out. Before that, we had a demolition subcontractor in there with heavy equipment, clearing walk paths so you could actually get down the aisles and through the store in a reasonable amount of time and safely.
Right. So the produce or everything was just scattered all over, obviously.
So I came out Thursday with my dad, my sister, and one of my friends to help A, figure out what the store looked like, B, secure it the best we could, and C, try to get information to get our game plan together, because normally, I know hurricanes are never normal, but the normal thing for us is to be open to serve the community as soon as possible after the storm. After Hurricane Ian, we ran the store on less than 10 people.
Wow.
Charlie, that is Hurricane Charlie.
Or I'm sorry, not Ian.
Yeah.
Irma. I've got Ian stuck on my brain.
Yeah, right.
Right after the storm hit initially, I kept calling it Irma. Now I keep calling it
Irma.
We knew what you meant.
Yeah.
And what did the store look like? If you can give your best description.
So for those that are familiar with the store and the way I describe it to a lot of people, once I was able to get entry inside the store, all the locks were full of salt water. So my keys didn't work. But thankfully, Ian made some new doors. I had to actually go through the back produce cooler and crawl over some stuff to get in that way. But inside the store, it took us about 30 minutes to go from the back door to the front.
Really?
We had between 8 and 10 feet of water inside, so everything inside, all your refrigerated cases that you would see in the dairy and frozen aisle, all the cases around the deli, produce, those all floated.
Yeah.
And when those floated, everything floated out, and then the cases fell, of course, not standing back up the way they were originally. Everything on the shelves that wasn't heavy floated off. I mean, it looked like a disaster. The island itself, I've never seen anything like it. I didn't see a single shade of green anywhere.
Yeah, it was red, wasn't it? It was like an amber. Oh, it's the weirdest color. It's
all the mangroves.
All the barks come off, and it's got a red tint to it. I don't know why.
All the mangroves, they didn't have any leaves, and it looked like Mad Max.
Yeah, that was one thing I remember about biking on the island is that because of that, there was no shade to stop anywhere.
Nope.
Like unless you were inside a house, you were not getting any shade. So those bike rides were hot.
And even in the house, you weren't getting AC.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it was brutal.
crazy
So
stuff.
with going forward, and the last time you came on the podcast, we were talking about the remodel that you were planning. Now I'm sure that's been expedited. Are you going forward with the same plans that you had prior to the storm?
Absolutely not.
No.
So that Thursday, as much as we didn't want to realize and admit it, we need to seriously step back and take a larger look at what we're doing, because I plan on being involved with the store for the rest of my life. I don't want to do this again, ever. This isn't the first time we've been stopped by a hurricane. Hopefully it may be the last. But the way the building sits now, and with FEMA's 50-50 rules, it's not going to be easy to rebuild as it sits. And to me and the rest of the family, it really doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, we'd still be a ground level non-conforming structure.
Right. So is that in the process of, how do you go? I mean, how do you go about? Have you been approved? Obviously, you're going to be approved to go to.
So right now, we're still working with our architect to get our initial drawings done. We've changed architects because of the time is really of the essence now for us. Before, we had planned on remodeling the store while remaining open. Mm-hmm. Obviously, we're closed now and are not able to reopen. So time is really of the essence. So we've changed our team a little bit. We're still with Benchmark General Contractors, but we have changed to a new architect that's a little bit more involved when it comes to, he's done commercial grocery store spaces before, so he knows a little bit of what we're looking for. So once we get those conceptual drawings back, we sign off on those, then we start working with engineers and the city to...
So it could be a long process.
Unfortunately, it could be, but we're working on it as quickly as we can.
Is there an estimate of time or not? Or is it still early to say?
It's still too early to say.
It's not even plans.
Yeah,
yet.
we don't even have a set of conceptual plans. We have an idea, and we have shared that idea with the architect firm, and he has a pretty good understanding of how we plan on operating. And basically, we're trying to figure out now, and that's what we're putting on paper, is how we want to orient this, because as a family, we've always had these ideas, but we've always thought, oh, well, we can never do that because we'd have to close to do this. Now that's all out the window. So all these ideas that we've had over the years, we can actually...
You got a blank slate.
Yeah, exactly. We've never been able to have a blank slate before. So now that we do, it's almost kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, you're just literally having forced to plan the whole future of Bailey's.
Exactly.
Well, there's one positive thing. If you didn't know, Dane was the head of maintenance, I guess, would be your engineering, service manager. Or
yeah.
So you had a lot of older refrigeration units there that
now
you won't have to keep tinkering with.
I am very excited about that. Unfortunately, pretty much everything on the roof is a total loss.
Right.
We did lose a section of the roof. So the building, as it sits now, it's pretty much only open to demo. It's not very safe to...
Right, I'm sure.
Is the plan to rebuild the entire building? Is that the idea?
I think that's the direction.
Second story, trying to go get elevated?
Yeah, we're going to try to elevate.
It would have to be, wouldn't it?
Yeah. To be a conforming structure, we'd have to elevate. But right now, we're trying to work with the architecture firm to figure out how we can do that to best suit our needs.
Right.
Because when you do elevate, and Jerry's already knows this.
You've got logistic problems getting your groceries downstairs.
It makes things much more logistically challenging, but I think we've investigated what some other stores have done around the state, and we're going to investigate and bring some of those ideas in.
Are you going to get a cool conveyor belt up into the
probably
store?
Trying to avoid it, I would think.
Trying to avoid conveyor belt. There's a system that's an escalator, but you can actually bring a shopping cart on it. So
I've seen those at airports.
So we've been looking into that.
Yeah. Okay. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So there's so much to go into rebuilding an entire grocery store, I'm sure.
Yeah. When you build a grocery store, that building is pretty much purpose built to be a grocery store. It's difficult to do anything else with it.
And you're going to be on the same footprint, correct?
Yes. Same property. We had investigated a couple different spaces in the center to try and move into those temporarily, but unfortunately, it's really difficult to make a space that's not intended to be a grocery store into a grocery store, and it's also difficult to make a space that's intended to be a grocery store into something else.
So that'd be an expensive temporary endeavor, essentially.
Correct. So we've got a lot of ideas of how we can temporarily operate. But we haven't really found one that, and I don't know if we're going to be able to find one that really hits all of our needs.
How about the Captiva store?
I was just going to get to that. So Island Store, as most people know, Captiva got significantly less rising water. So Island Store only suffered a few inches of water damage versus feet. So that once we saw the shape that the main location was in, we kind of shifted our focus to Island Store, get that inspected, and what we found was pretty minimal. Other than not having refrigeration and air conditioning for an extended period of time, we were able to get it cleaned up and get it reopened with limited hours fairly quickly.
I'm sure it's a huge help to the workers on Captiva as well. I'm sure. Has it been busy?
From when I've been up there, I've actually had a couple benchmark projects at Island Store. And everyone that I hear that's working up there, they're so happy to have somewhere to go, because if
there was MREs were the only choice to start with.
Well, MREs, and before the gas station opened back up, there was nothing till you get off the island.
No, there was nothing at all. There was the free barbecue that they put on occasionally.
Which gas station opened back up?
Rebel.
Oh, it did?
Mm-hmm.
That's our favorite. That's our favorite gas station.
Yeah, I think as of last week they had reopened, which is crazy to me because I saw the trucks that were working there show up like 2 days before, and then overnight they were
open.
Yeah,
which is crazy because they
even
must have been flooded.
Oh yeah, they were flooded. They're on the same.
Yeah, they're just down the street.
Yeah,
from
a quarter
us.
mile from you, aren't they?
How did they turn it around so quickly?
I have no idea.
Incredible.
Do they have gas?
I think they do.
See, that would be huge for the island, especially if you're going out to Captiva. That's a long haul. So to have a gas station halfway there.
They have free federal gas.
Do they?
Yeah, there's big tankers actually on the old.
There's one in the parking lot at Bailey's.
Bailey's,
right now.
yeah. So if you're working for the city or anything federal, then you just fill up for free.
Yep.
And you just sign a chip, but there wasn't anywhere to actually pump gas, was there?
Right. Well, now there is.
Now there is.
Now
So what about your sisters, Bailey and Callie? Are they still going to be doing the business, or are they doing other things? I mean, Callie's always done other stuff as well. Anyway.
Yeah, so Callie's focusing a little bit more on her other stuff with the university.
FGCU.
Yeah, but she's keeping up with a lot of the stuff that she handled at the store beforehand, mainly the social media and a little bit of wine.
A little bit of wine.
And then
if she can keep us posted on that front, it would be much appreciated.
Yeah, the wine.
she's working on it.
Yeah. And what about Bailey?
So Bailey's still working with the store. The second floor obviously is where our offices were. They didn't retain as much damage as the first floor, but we did have some windows blow out. My office included was like the only office. It actually made my desk look cleaner. They like to give me a hard time about the state of my desk, but my grandfather was the same way.
Yeah,
but
so
I know
you get
where
over
everything is.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
But she is working on getting all of our office systems back up and running. So because we literally left the store on Tuesday and expected to be back Wednesday, so we've got all kinds of accounting stuff that needs to be taken care of. So she's definitely got her hands full with that.
And what about Mead? Obviously, your dad's busy with the city. He's been on the city.
He's busy
council,
with the city and with keeping up with the office stuff as well, helping Bailey. My mother has. We recently started going through the store and seeing what we could salvage. Some of that is included with the Christmas ornaments that we sell every year. So they have been working on that, and I just got a text message before I pulled up. She went to Staples to get envelopes because we absolutely cannot believe the volume of sales from the website for the Christmas ornaments and the stuff that we're able to salvage. It's absolutely mind-blowing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome. So where would people find the website if they wanted to?
It's in the link on our Facebook and Instagram bio. And that'll take you to our temporary website that basically has things that we're able to salvage and are in good enough shape to sell. Some memorabilia stuff that you can remember us for the time being, and when we're ready, we'll be ready to welcome you back. But it'll be a little keepsake to look at on the counter and think of us. And we're definitely ready and excited to have everybody back.
So I'm not sure where this is going out. It's December 19th day. Shout out to Laurie, who couldn't be here. Our daughters have come back from Tallahassee, and she thinks she might have got something they call Tally Nasty, where the girls have brought something back. So she's not feeling good. So shout out to Laurie. So that's why Max and I are up here. But it's December 19th today. Mm-hmm. A couple of days ago, you had a little incident. Do you want to tell us about it in the parking lot?
So we did have a little bit of an incident. It was a very unfortunate situation. I was working with Benchmark General Contractors, and we were supervising the clean out with our subcontractor of the store. And there was a alligator attack near the lake on the property. And unfortunately, it did happen. However, the young man, who's actually the same age as me, had a lot of people asking if I was okay because they figured it was me. He's stable. He was quickly released from Gulf Coast Medical. I was able to speak with his company that he works with, and he's going to make a full recovery and be completely fine.
It's going to be a cool scar to show off.
Yeah, it's going to be a cool story.
Cut down his forearm, apparently.
Yeah, a pretty large gash down his forearm. A huge thanks to our first responders on the island. I mean, before I saw him, and before I could walk from across the shopping center to him, pretty much every paramedic, firefighter, and police officer on the island responded and got there in between the time it took me to walk across the parking lot. He was on the property working with one of the disaster cleanup teams and had gone near the lake, unfortunately. And he was bit. He had a coworker help him, and they were able to call 911 pretty quick. And he got medical attention fast and was quickly released.
They managed to tourniquet his arm with an extension cord or something. Is that what you're saying? Aren't they?
Yeah, they did. And then once the paramedics got there, he was bandaged up and sent to Gulf Coast for trauma. And they were, when I spoke with his team, he was bandaged up, stitched, and released fairly quickly.
Wow, that's incredible.
That's impressive, because you usually don't walk away with a limb if you're getting attacked by an alligator.
Little known fact, if
limbs.
if any of my customers were asking where they could see an alligator and they couldn't see one, or they hadn't seen one, I'd always say, go up to the Bailey's General Store. And I'm sure we don't want to advertise it, but there's the lake is not apparent. You might have been at the store 100 times and not actually seen it, but as you face the front of the store, it's over to the right, and it's pretty hidden by trees. So it's good gator territory because it's little openings in through the bushes and the mangroves into the lake.
Well, if you do see a gator, I guess you should probably tell us about what you should do if you do see a gator.
So the best thing you can do is give them their space. They are wild animals. I'm no expert on the topic, but I've spent pretty much my whole life in Florida, and if there's fresh water, there's more than likely a gator. But they're just, most of the time, they're just as scared of you as you are of them. But give them their space. Phones have zoom. If you want to take pictures, you can always zoom in. But what's really dangerous is when gators are being fed. And when gators are being fed, they see humans as a food source. And when they get hungry and they see humans and you don't have food, unfortunately, that's when accidents happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you see a gator, don't give it any of your Bailey's fried chicken.
Yeah, no, not a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what's coming up in the future? Have you got, so obviously you're going to be wrapped up doing construction for the next few years, probably.
Are you on the island only, or is Benchmark only on the island?
No, we're actually all over the place. This morning I was downtown first. I've got a commercial project up there. I was over on Fort Myers Beach. And then tomorrow I'll be downtown again. The day after, I'll more than likely be at the store working on that clean out still.
What's their, what Benchmark, what is their website, do you know?
Benchmark GC, benchmark-gc.com, I believe. I can check
We'll put a link to them anyway if anybody's got construction needs. They've been around this area for a long, long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got a very respected name.
Yeah, Mark Anderson.
Mark, we did their family pictures few times.
Did you?
Yeah. They
you
actually live very close to here.
Benchmark-gc.com. So.
Okay. Yeah. Check them out. Very good company.
Mark started the company, and he decided to sell within probably the last year, and brought in Brad Nickel.
Oh, okay.
Who's originally from the Sarasota area, but came down here for the opportunity. And from a customer standpoint, he's fantastic, but from a boss standpoint, also, he's great to work for.
You had to say that, didn't you?
And do they do commercial and residential?
Correct.
Okay, so they got it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And Brad's experiences in the large commercial renovation, as well as residential. So when Mark brought him on board, it was just kind of a good fit for Bailey's.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. And talking of giving people props, you might have seen this sitting at the front here. This is my good buddy, Chef Vic. Victor Legaretta, a friend of mine, has started making these spices. He's got his own mixes, and it's Bada Boom spice, Forget About It spice, and then he's got the Bada Bing spice. Excellent stuff, and thoroughly recommend it. I think it's probably a little late for Christmas now, but check out Chef Vic online. He's got some great...
At The Real Chef Vic. He was actually a guest on our podcast, too.
At The Real Chef Vic.
Giving props to
yeah,
Chef
so
Vic.
make sure you check it out. It's delicious. I have been tasting it on various things, and it's very good.
All right, now that we have our promos out of the way.
So I've got them covered in
It's Chef
Spicy
Bada
and
Bing sauce.
yeah, okay.
Getting the desk all spicy.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time I have been on this side of the podcast, sitting here. So I am asking the questions, but also answering them, as my mom is not here. So this will be the first time I get to compete. My mom has sent me a list of questions. I have not seen them yet. So
And she's given the answers in envelopes.
we have the answers in the envelopes right here.
If you weren't Max, I'm sure you could enter the competition too because you don't know the answer.
That's the point.
Oh, okay, you are in it.
envelopes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the
Okay.
envelopes.
Okay, all right.
All right,
I thought you were saying you were going to... Okay. Oh, carry
I'm
on.
in.
Okay.
I'm
You're
in.
in.
We need
we need
pencils
paper and a pen.
paper so we can write down our answers. Thank you, Dane.
You're welcome.
There you go.
I don't remember the results of our last. I
think I won.
Trivia.
I think so.
You think
I think so.
the odds of that are slim? But
You know who else won last night? We went to a little somewhere last night, didn't we, Max?
The Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals. We went up to Tampa.
It was awesome.
Shout out to the Bengals. Well done.
Sorry, Tom Brady.
Sorry, Tom Brady. Yeah.
All right, so we have 3 questions here today.
Only 3.
Only 3 today.
They were tough last time. The stop sign question at the 4-way
Yeah,
at
trick question.
Causeway and Periwinkle.
That is a hard one. I think there's way more than you would have thought. I can't
Oh,
remember
yeah.
exactly
Yeah, it's
how
like
many there is.
123 or something.
It's not
16.
123. That was a good question. All right. First question. After Hurricane Ian, Chinook helicopters were used for the transportation and rescue. Where does the word Chinook come from? Oh my God, that is hard. That is a true thing. We saw a lot of Chinook helicopters in the days after the storm. They were very impressive.
So my family calls me a townie because I live in town. But I'm fairly close to RSW, and I was right underneath the flight path. It is really cool to have Chinooks flying over your house.
They are
at 2,000
loud,
feet.
aren't they?
Oh yeah, it shakes the windows
It's
in the
literally
house.
is like the most impressive thing. It's like it's
so cool.
chest thumping, isn't it?
It's one of those things that shouldn't work, but it does.
Yeah, I love them.
They're so cool.
Chinook.
Okay, I need to write it out.
Yeah.
I'm new to the trivia game. I would have thought Chinook. Knowing like military stuff, you would think it'd be like some sort of contraction. I don't know why I'm giving you my thoughts.
Acronym.
Yeah, something like that.
That would be a funky acronym.
Not that no one would remember.
Is there a timer? Do we have?
Yeah, do we have I don't even know where to start.
I don't.
I've got it.
Um,
I've got it. So yeah, did it.
All right,
I've totally made it up, but I've got an answer.
I completely guessed, and this is a stretch at best.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
All right. So, well, let's see what everyone said before we look at the answer.
So I wrote this as though I knew what I was talking about, but I absolutely don't. Native American name for a mule or powerful animal.
That seems oddly specific.
That is oddly specific. That if you're, I don't even know.
So I said someone's name, as in like because a lot of aircraft are named after the people that designed them.
So Mr.
That's
Chinook.
good. Yes, and I said the
Maybe.
city in which they were made, or
Ooh,
the area,
that's-
the region they were made.
That's a good one.
All right, question 1. My mom sealed the envelope for some
Oh, you
reason,
need to
so
seal
I
them 'cause
guess
you cheat,
You
mate.
can see that I wasn't cheating. This is the answer to question 1. Native American Chinook people of Oregon and Washington State.
Wow.
What did it say? Native American what?
American, it was a tribe.
A
But
tribe.
You said Native American, so I think you get the point there.
Yes,
Yeah,
come on. I
absolutely.
didn't put any of the other bit. It's just Native American.
You must. I mean, you do watch a lot of war like documentaries.
I'm
so
not
you
that
must have
sad.
heard. Yeah, you were watching a World War II documentary before we left for this podcast.
Never.
So I think you might have heard it in one of those episodes.
That's like I said. It was
It's
oddly
hard
specific.
to.
It was oddly specific.
It is hard to
Question.
reconcile somebody's genius.
All right. Question 2. Bailey's General Store produces a limited edition collector's ornament every year. We talked about
Uh-huh.
this. Each ornament comes in a presentation folder. The folder contains a certificate indicating the limited edition number with a brief description of the significance of the design. The ornament is made of 24 karat gold over what? Plated over what?
Somebody
is
here might
insane.
have a
Who wrote
little
these
bit.
questions?
Somebody here might have a little advantage here.
Nope. It's funny that you asked that question because my fiance just put the ornaments up on the tree, the Bailey's ornaments on the tree a couple days ago. We were looking through the ones we had.
I mean, I'm going to say.
But I wasn't reading the paper. Really wish I was at this point.
All right, I'm totally guessing.
I don't know if I spelled this word right.
What? Incorrect?
Yeah. All right, my guess is aluminum.
Oh, that's a good
That's
guess.
a good one.
However,
I was.
do you
go on.
have any of the Bailey's ornaments?
I do. We do. I have not touched one in a while.
They're
Why do you
pretty,
say?
they're pretty heavy to be
Are they?
aluminum. Yeah.
All right. What did you say, Dane?
I said platinum.
Platinum?
I don't know the cost of platinum.
It's more expensive than gold, so I'm going to say you're probably wrong.
Probably.
I'm going to say brass because it's a
Brass.
pliable metal.
That would have been a much better guess.
All right, brass. I like brass. All right, question 2. Here we go. Sealed again, just to make this difficult. Thank you, Mom.
We can't let your dad blow us out of the water.
That's true. All right. The answer is brass.
Yes!
Where are you getting this?
Why are
knowledge
you so
from?
surprised that I am doing so well, Max? Come on.
I'm not suggesting anything, but it's a little suspicious.
There's
That's
not
all
much
I'm
to
saying.
cheat from here. I could cheat from the ingredients of the Bada Bing Chef Vic.
Yeah, we'll see.
Are you sure your mom put those in the envelopes?
Yeah, right. I think he must have been checking them out before we got here. Okay, number 3. Speaking of the Bailey's ornaments, what year did the ornament look like the original store's vintage cash register? Do you have that one, Dane?
I do have that one. I just looked at it the other day, too.
Was it in your lifetime?
Yes.
Oh, good hint. Thank you. You didn't have to answer that.
Spoiler alert, all the ornaments were produced in my lifetime.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
doesn't really help.
That's my mom went hard on these questions.
Yes,
did.
she always does.
yeah.
She knew I was coming on.
Yeah.
She wanted to make me look bad, not knowing what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
she's
right.
like that. She's got that vindictive streak, Joe.
All right. All right,
Like
well, I guess
I'm
gonna guess.
thinking like it's going to make a difference if I actually think, but I'll probably get it on the nose.
Okay, you
the
already
way
won.
I'm doing.
You did already win, to be honest.
Yeah. There's no comeback at this
Okay,
point.
so I don't even need to.
You're
I have
either,
seen-
you're either going to make us look bad or really bad.
So nearest
the
to
original, The original cash registers, is it still at the old store?
it. That's debatable, is it? It's
At the,
what is left at the old store?
No, I guess the museum. What is
Yeah.
it called?
So wait, the
Bailey
historic
Museum.
village?
Yeah.
Yes, the historical village.
So I'm not sure which one is the original. I know we have a large cash register that was sitting on the service desk in the main store.
I remember that. Did that survive?
It did survive. We have it.
Good.
It barely survived. But actually, if anyone's familiar with our service desk, the whole service desk floated up and fell on its side. So the register ended up on the floor.
Wow.
But it's okay.
Yeah,
think-
it looked pretty
Probably
heavy.
not
so I'd
quite
imagine-
as lucid as it was before.
Yeah, it's
More
incredibly,
crunchy rather than.
It's incredibly heavy.
Yeah.
They actually had to use heavy equipment to move it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's that heavy.
Super heavy.
What is that a safety feature? Or is that just because they're heavy?
I think it probably just because
Full
it's
of metallic
pretty.
parts, that
Yeah.
mechanical. Yeah.
It's like
All
a
right.
giant typewriter.
All right. What did you put down then? As you're the one hanging it on your tree.
Yeah, as you should know this question.
I should. I said 2014, but I'm not very confident in that answer.
What did you say?
I
Dad?
said 2010, but I'm absolutely not. That's 100% a guess.
I said 2013. So we are pretty close.
Off record, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it was
You think-
2008
you-
or 9.
you think I'm probably
but
right.
That's not my answer.
All right. Well, let's find out.
I think 2014 was actually one of the first runs that we ever sold out of.
Really?
I believe. Don't quote me on this. It was around 2014, and it was the dually truck that has been over at the gas station.
Oh, yeah,
how
yeah,
did that?
yeah.
How did that do? Is that survived?
So it's funny you ask. It actually got floated up and moved back about 15 feet. Because I specifically remember as I was leaving the store on Tuesday, I went and hopped in it and pulled the parking brake and put it in gear because it's a manual.
And you were still able to do that? I'm surprised it wasn't
before the storm.
Before the storm. Oh, before.
So
the storm.
after the storm, I went there and tried to get it. I noticed it had been pushed way back, and I went and put some oil in the cylinders so the cylinders don't freeze. And I tried to get it out of gear, and it wouldn't come out of gear. But after fighting with it for about 5 minutes, I got it out of gear, and I was able to hook it up to my truck and pull it to break the brakes had actually rusted.
Oh, see stuff.
So
Really?
Is the motors going to survive?
Oh yeah, they're tough to
Cast.
kill.
Is it cast?
Yeah, they're old cast iron blocks.
Yeah.
So they're super thick. They're really hard to crack or anything like that.
What is it? Just as a matter of interest, it's an old Ford.
Yeah, it's a 4-cylinder.
Ford, but like
Model
it's like
A, right?
Model. Which model?
I don't know the exact model
But
of
from
it.
the 30s.
So this one would have been from 31,
Okay.
and the original to the family truck was actually inside the gas station, and that's a 26.
Oh, really?
So both of those, I plan on one day being able to get running again, but for right now, they both went for a swim.
Need some
Well,
TLC.
besides
Yeah.
trying to find parts, I'm sure they're not super complicated to repair.
Oh, they're so easy.
Yeah,
They're so easy to
They're
work
pretty
on.
simple machines in today's standard, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Oh, yeah. Before the 4th of July parade last year, I ended up rebuilding the intake system on both. They both
Really?
got new carburetors, and I'm probably going to have to do that again. But the parts availability is actually a lot more common than you'd think. There's
So
a lot
many of them made.
Well, so many of them made, and a lot of people are really into that sort of thing. So
A lot of enthusiasts making
Yep.
parts and stuff. All right,
Exactly.
well,
Okay,
let's find
just-
out the answer.
Well, we know it's 2010.
2015.
You were right.
I was close.
You were the closest.
You
2014?
changed it, didn't you?
no, I originally said 2014, and then I said, I think
Oh,
it might
20
be 2008.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
you
You got
did
it right
win
first
it.
try. You second guessed yourself. You didn't need
Yeah,
to.
you didn't need to.
You were close. 2015.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one honorary point to you, but Dad, you still pulled off
Yep.
the win with
Thank
the.
you. Thank you.
I've
Can I have
never
a round of
heard.
applause? There's no
yeah.
round of applause on that. I'm not sure which one it is.
I'm starting to think that Chinook answer wasn't all that. It was cracked up. To
No,
me.
I
Because you
said so much.
You said a Native
I
American
wrote
word,
you a story,
but it wasn't.
You two.
And you
You
told me
two
you
just
told
put
me you'd
like
never heard
one
of
word
it.
answers. I'm telling a story. Native
right.
American name. Yes, oh, it's so poetic.
You were wrong, but we did give you an honorary point
I was a better wrong than you were wrong.
He
You
was
were-
closer than we were, for
by
sure.
a mile, a
Yeah.
long mile.
Yeah.
All right, Dad, why don't you close us out?
All right. Well, thanks very much for joining us. Much appreciated. Please do come back and see us on the next one. It's going to be Christmas coming up here. I'm not sure if this is going to be out before Christmas, but have a wonderful Christmas. Hope Laurie gets better, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys.